On a distant planet called Zenthara, leaders from many alien races gathered in a grand hall. The room was filled with strange creatures, each more different than the last. Some had scales, some had fur, and others had shiny, smooth skin. They were there to discuss their plans for conquering the universe. At the head of the table sat Growl, the leader of the Zentharians. He was tall and imposing, with bright blue skin and glowing eyes. Growl pounded his fist on the table, demanding silence. "Today we will talk about those small creatures from Earth. Humans," he declared, a sneer on his face. The other leaders laughed loudly, their voices echoing in the hall. "Humans? They are weak and small," one leader with green skin said, slapping his knee. "How can we fear such tiny beings?" A human diplomat, John, sat quietly at the corner of the table. He was nervous but determined to represent his people. John had traveled far to speak for Earth, hoping to build a bridge of peace between humans and the alien races. He cleared his throat, trying to get the attention of the leaders. "Excuse me, but humans are strong in their own way. We value teamwork and intelligence. We seek peace, not war," John said, his voice steady despite the laughter around him. The aliens continued to mock him. "Look at him! He's just a little man," a creature with 4 arms said, pointing at John. "What can he possibly do against us?" John felt his face flush with anger, but he held back his feelings. He knew that anger would not help. He wanted to show the aliens that humans were capable of much more than they realized. As the meeting went on, the leaders discussed their plans to attack Earth. "We should send our fleet to show them our power." "They need to know their place," Growl suggested, grinning. The room erupted in cheers, each leader eager to prove their strength over the tiny humans. "Let's show them what real strength looks like," said a leader from a race called the Thraxians, whose sharp teeth glinted in the light. They all agreed, believing that this attack would be an easy victory. John listened, his heart sinking. He knew that humans had faced many challenges, but they had always found a way to survive. He decided he needed to do something to change their minds. "I beg you, please reconsider this plan. We can find another way. Violence will only lead to more problems," he pleaded. But the aliens were too caught up in their laughter and bravado to listen. They dismissed John's words as foolish. "We are the strongest. They will cower in fear," Growl laughed, waving his hand as if to brush John away. Feeling hopeless, John stood up. "You may think humans are weak, but we have strengths you cannot see. We are creative, resourceful, and willing to fight for what we love," he declared, his voice rising. The aliens stared at him, their laughter fading. For a moment they considered his words, but then they laughed again, this time louder. "Let him talk! It only makes our victory sweeter," one of them shouted. John sat down, defeated but not broken. He realized that no matter how hard he tried, the aliens would never see the truth about humans. As the meeting ended, the leaders celebrated their plans for war, completely unaware of the danger they were underestimating. As John left the hall, he felt a fire ignite in his heart. He knew he had to warn Earth. He might be small, but he would not let the laughter of the aliens drown out his voice. He would show them that humans were more than they appeared, and he would fight for his people, no matter what it took. Little did he know that soon he would be part of a story that would change everything. As the sun set over Earth, a dark shadow loomed in space. The alien fleet, led by Growl and his Zentharians, approached the blue planet with confidence. Their ships were huge and menacing, glimmering under the starlight. The aliens believed they would crush the humans with ease. Laughter filled their command ship as they imagined the fear on Earth. Back on Earth, the news spread quickly. John, the human diplomat, rushed to the command center. He had already sent a warning to the leaders of Earth about the impending attack. The room was filled with military officers and scientists, all gathered to discuss the best course of action. Tension hung in the air as they waited for more information. "Are we sure they're coming?" asked a worried officer, looking at the screens showing the alien fleet approaching. "What can we do?" "They are so much bigger than us." John stepped forward, determined to remain calm. "We can't let fear take over. We need to show them we are ready. We may be small, but we have surprises of our own," he said, trying to inspire confidence. A senior general nodded, acknowledging John's words. "We have advanced technology and strong defenses. Let's prepare our forces and get ready to protect our planet," he declared. The room buzzed with activity as everyone scrambled to put their plans into action. Meanwhile, Growl and his fleet were excited. Prepare for the attack, Growl ordered, his voice booming through the command ship. The aliens laughed and cheered, convinced that this would be an easy win. They were sure that the humans would panic and run at the first sight of their massive ships. As the alien fleet entered Earth's atmosphere, the humans activated their defenses. Missiles and lasers charged up, ready to protect their home. "Stay alert, everyone! We have to be ready for anything!" the general shouted, trying to keep the team focused. Suddenly, the aliens unleashed a barrage of energy blasts toward Earth. Bright lights flashed across the sky as the blasts hit the surface. Buildings shook and alarms blared. The humans worked quickly, firing back with their weapons. "Return fire! Show them we're not afraid!" the general yelled. The battle in the sky was fierce. Growl watched with delight as his ships shot down human defenses. "Look at them scatter! They think they can fight us!" he laughed, his confidence growing. But as the battle raged on, he began to notice something strange. The humans weren't giving up. They were fighting back with everything they had. Just when the aliens thought they were winning, John had a plan. He had secretly been working on a teleportation device, a technology that could change the course of the battle. If they could summon their hidden fleet from another dimension, it would surprise the aliens and shift the power back to humans. "General, I have a plan!" John shouted over the noise of the battle. "We can use the teleportation device to bring in our fleet. It will catch them off guard." The general's eyes widened. "Are you sure it will work?" "We need to act fast," he replied, realizing the urgency of the situation. "We don't have much time." "We have to try," John insisted, leading the team to the device. They activated the machine, and the room filled with a bright light. The tension was palpable as everyone held their breath, hoping it would succeed. Meanwhile, Growl was still focused on the battle, unaware of the humans' secret plan. "Destroy them completely!" he commanded, feeling invincible. But just then, a blinding light erupted in the sky, capturing his attention. Suddenly, from the light, massive human warships began to appear. The aliens stared in shock and disbelief as the human fleet materialized around them. Growl's laughter faded, replaced by panic. "What is happening? How can this be?" he yelled. The human ships now in position, prepared for battle. The tide of the fight had turned, and the aliens were about to face a challenge they never expected. The humans were no longer the small, weak beings they thought they could easily defeat. They had become a formidable force, ready to defend their home. The sky over Earth was filled with chaos as two fleets faced off against each other. On one side, the massive alien ships loomed like dark mountains, and on the other, the newly summoned human warships gleamed with determination. The sudden appearance of the human fleet shocked Growl and his crew. They had never expected such a surprise. Growl stood in the command room of his flagship, his blue skin shimmering with anger and disbelief. How could this happen? "We thought humans were weak," he shouted, his voice echoing in the control room. The other alien leaders were just as stunned, their faces showing a mix of fear and confusion. Meanwhile, John, the human diplomat, was on one of the newly summoned warships. As he looked out at the alien fleet, he felt a surge of hope. "We can do this! We have the element of surprise now," he said, turning to the crew. "Let's show them what we're made of!" The crew nodded, their faces filled with determination. They knew they had to act quickly. The human fleet, made up of advanced warships and well-trained soldiers, began to organize. They were ready to fight back against the aliens who had underestimated them for so long. "Prepare for attack! Aim for the enemy ships!" shouted Captain Roberts, the commander of John's ship. The crew moved swiftly, loading missiles and targeting the nearest alien vessels. With their hearts racing, they waited for the command to fire. On the alien side, Growl struggled to regain control of the situation. "Return fire! Show them we are stronger!" he bellowed. But the aliens were disoriented, still trying to understand how the humans had pulled off such a trick. The humans had gained momentum, and the aliens felt their confidence waver. As the order was given, the human ships unleashed their weapons. Missiles flew through the air, striking the alien ships with precision. Explosions lit up the dark space, sending debris flying. The humans fought bravely, proving that they could stand up against their larger foes. "Direct hit!" one of the crew members shouted, pointing at the screen showing an alien ship taking damage. The crew cheered, their spirits lifting. They had turned the tide of the battle, and they felt a sense of unity and strength among them. In the chaos, Growl realized that his arrogance had blinded him. He had underestimated the humans, thinking their size made them weak. Now, he faced a formidable enemy who was fighting with everything they had. "Focus! We cannot lose to these tiny beings!" Growl yelled, but his voice was less confident than before. John, watching the battle unfold, knew that this was a critical moment. He had to keep the momentum going. "Let's push forward! We can't let them regroup," he urged the crew. They nodded, feeling empowered by their success so far. As the battle raged on, the humans continued to press their advantage. The alien ships struggled to keep up with the unexpected human strategy. They had expected to intimidate the humans, but instead, they were the ones feeling afraid. Just then, another surprise struck. A signal from the human command center reached John's ship. "We have reinforcements coming in from the other side of the planet," the officer announced. "More ships are on their way!" Joy spread through the crew. They were not just fighting to protect their planet, they were also fighting for each other. The idea of teamwork fueled their determination even more. On the alien side, panic began to spread. Growl looked at his fellow leaders who were beginning to doubt their plan. "We need to retreat! We are losing!" he shouted, but his voice was drowned out by the sounds of battle. As the human ships closed in, the aliens found themselves trapped. Their once mighty fleet was now vulnerable, and they realized that they had underestimated the very beings they had mocked. The humans, fueled by courage and a desire to defend their home, were fighting with a strength that the aliens could not comprehend. The surprise of the battle was not just the human fleet, but the resilience of humanity itself. John watched as the aliens began to falter, and he felt a wave of triumph wash over him. The tide had turned, and the battle was far from over. The humans had finally shown that they were not to be underestimated. The battle in space had reached a critical point. Alien ships swarmed around, their dark forms silhouetted against the bright backdrop of Earth. The human fleet, filled with courage and determination, had come to life. John and his crew stood firm, ready to fight for their planet. "Prepare for the final assault," Captain Roberts shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos. The crew quickly checked their weapons and monitored their systems. Tension filled the air as the human ships moved into formation, each one ready to protect their home. As the humans advanced, Growl's face turned pale. "We cannot let them take control," he yelled at his officers. "We must fight back with everything we have." The Xantharians scrambled to organize their forces, but fear and confusion spread among them. They had underestimated the humans, and now they were in danger of losing. The humans launched their missiles, and a wave of bright lights filled the dark expanse of space. Explosions erupted around the alien ships, sending shock waves through their fleet. The human fleet was relentless, moving swiftly and precisely. Every crew member felt the adrenaline pumping through their veins as they fought for their lives. "Look! They are falling back!" one of the crew members shouted, pointing at the screen showing the alien ships beginning to retreat. The humans cheered, their spirits lifting. They had become a powerful force against their foes. But Growl was not ready to give up. "Rally your troops! We cannot show weakness," he commanded. He knew they had to strike back hard if they wanted to win. The Xantharians regrouped, their massive ships turning to face the advancing humans once again. The next wave of the battle began. The aliens unleashed their full power, firing energy beams and missiles at the humans. Bright flashes lit up the darkness, and the sounds of destruction echoed through space. The humans fought back, dodging blasts and firing their own weapons. "Keep moving! Don't let them hit us!" John shouted, his heart racing. He could feel the tension in the ship as they maneuvered through the enemy fire. The crew worked together, their training kicking in as they fought with everything they had. Suddenly, an alarm blared throughout the ship. "Incoming enemy fire!" an officer yelled, pointing at the screen showing a massive energy blast headed straight for them. John braced himself as he realized they were in the path of destruction. "Evasive maneuvers! Turn right!" he commanded. The pilot reacted quickly, steering the ship away from danger just in time. The blast missed them by inches, and the crew let out a collective sigh of relief. They were determined to survive this battle no matter the cost. On the other side, Growl watched as his ships were being picked off one by one. "This cannot be happening!" he shouted, his anger boiling over. He knew that his fleet was losing, and panic began to set in. The humans were fighting with a strength he had never seen before. As the battle raged on, John felt a surge of energy. "We can't let up now!" "We're winning!" he yelled, his voice filled with passion. The crew rallied around him, fueled by his words. They pushed forward, pressing the attack against the retreating alien ships. One by one, the human ships struck at the aliens, and the tide of the battle began to turn. Growl realized he had made a grave mistake by underestimating the humans. "Fall back! Retreat now!" he ordered, his voice trembling with fear. The alien fleet scrambled to escape, but the humans were relentless. The sound of explosions filled the air as they chased the Xantharians through the stars. It was a moment of triumph for humanity, a moment they had longed for. As the last of the alien ships fled, cheers erupted from the human crew. They had done the impossible. They had fought back against an overwhelming enemy and won. John looked around at his crew, pride swelling in his chest. They had proven that they were not to be underestimated. In the distance, the remaining alien ships disappeared into the darkness, their defeat clear. John and his crew stood together, united in victory. They had faced a mighty challenge and emerged stronger than ever. This battle was not just a fight for survival, it was a testament to the power of humanity. They had shown the galaxy that they were more than just small beings. They were fierce warriors ready to defend their home at any cost. The battle was over, and the dark sky over Earth was beginning to clear. The alien fleet, once proud and powerful, had been defeated. The humans stood together on their ships, their hearts filled with joy and relief. They had proven themselves in a way that no one had ever expected. John, the human diplomat, looked at the stars as he felt the weight of victory settle upon him. The crew had fought bravely, and they had done something amazing. "We showed them what we can do!" he exclaimed, his voice filled with excitement. The crew cheered, their faces shining with pride. But as the celebrations began, John felt a moment of reflection. He knew that this battle was just the beginning. The Xantharians, led by Growl, had been defeated, but their actions would not be forgotten. The galaxy would now see humanity in a different light. On the alien side, Growl was on his flagship, looking out at the remains of his fleet. His heart was heavy with shame and anger. How could this happen, he thought, still reeling from the loss. He had underestimated the humans, thinking their size and appearance made them weak. Now he understood that strength comes in many forms. As Growl pondered his next move, a message came through from the Xantharians' home planet. It was a call from the High Council, and they wanted to discuss the battle. Growl knew he had to face them. He took a deep breath and prepared for the worst. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the humans were discussing their victory. Captain Roberts called for a meeting on the command ship. "Everyone gather around," he said, his voice steady. "We did something incredible today, but we must also think about our next steps." John nodded, feeling the importance of the moment. "We have shown the Xantharians that we are strong, but we also need to consider how to communicate with them. We can't let hatred take over." The crew listened carefully, knowing that this was a critical time for humanity. Back in the Xantharians' command room, Growl stood before the High Council, feeling anxious. "We faced the humans, and they have proven to be a formidable enemy," he reported. The council members listened intently, their expressions serious. "Growl, you must understand that underestimating them was a mistake," one of the council leaders said. "What can we learn from this defeat?" Growl took a deep breath, his pride stinging. "We must approach them with respect. They are not weak, they are powerful. We should seek peace instead of more conflict." The council members nodded, realizing the truth in Growl's words. It was time to change their view of humanity. Growl felt a sense of relief wash over him. "Let us send a message to the humans. We want to negotiate. We must build a new relationship based on understanding and respect." As the message was sent, John and his crew prepared to receive it. When the communication came through, everyone gathered around the screen. Growl's face appeared, looking solemn yet determined. "Humans, we have much to discuss," he began, his voice steady. "We have realized that our previous assumptions about you were wrong. We seek peace and a new beginning." The humans were surprised but relieved to hear this. John stepped forward, ready to respond. "We are willing to talk, Growl. Let us find a way to work together and learn from each other. We can create a better future." As the two sides began their discussions, a sense of hope filled the air. The humans and Xantharians had once been enemies, but now they were looking towards a brighter future. They both understood that they had a lot to learn from one another. In the following days, John and Growl worked together to create a new alliance. They shared knowledge about their cultures, technologies, and histories. The humans showed the Xantharians the beauty of Earth, while the aliens shared their advanced technology. Slowly, respect began to grow between them. The war had changed both sides forever. The humans had learned the importance of unity and strength, while the Xantharians had learned to respect their smaller foes. As they built a new future together, they knew they would face challenges, but they were ready to face them as allies. And so, the story of the humans and Xantharians became one of understanding, respect, and friendship. The galaxy would never forget the epic battle that led to a new beginning. Together, they proved that strength comes not just from power, but from the willingness to learn and grow.